Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to check out ICP's price chart and see what is happening and basically what we talked about in the previous video, albeit I think it happened like much more quicker than I initially thought, but hey, it did happen nonetheless, and we are going to, from this point moving forward, focus on the next possible move. And I'm not sure, but I think I sort of kind of have good news for you. Now, before we get into all that, let me first talk to you about this very important news, and also the man himself, Mr. Dominic Williams, mentioned this, but I'm gonna guess back then, about 10 days ago, it actually went completely under the radar because let's be honest, during these absolutely terrible times, why should you honestly do your research and check out the fundamentals? Nobody really cares about fundamentals of an altcoin in these times. However, again, if you are a mid to long-term investor and if you are a fair value investor for that matter, I think these are the things that we need to pay attention to, and it's very important to constantly do our research and keep ourselves updated, whether the times are absolutely terrible or maybe, hey, we are in a beautiful bull run. Hopefully that's going to happen in the next couple of months. Now, let's start by explaining what is happening in simple terms. Basically, about 10 days ago, DFINITY announced something called the Swiss Subnet for Internet Computer during World Computer Day in Davos. Now, in basic terms, you should know that a subnet on ICP is essentially a separate cluster of nodes that runs applications and stores data, and this specific subnet is special because every single node provider, pay attention please, every single node provider is physically based in Switzerland, and they named 13 independent node providers, all operating under Swiss jurisdiction, and that is really the core of this announcement. Now, you might ask, well, okay, why is this important and why we as ICP investors should care about this? Because this subnet actually guarantees data residency. What does that mean? Basically, any application running on the Swiss subnet has its data stored and processed inside Switzerland, not on any servers that are spread across the United States or maybe other countries. For institutions like banks, hospitals, the government agencies, this, trust me, is a massive deal for them, and it essentially means that they are able to prove where their data lives and which laws are going to apply to it. And that, my friends, is exactly to the T why DFINITY is clearly pitching this to regulated industries that care about compliance, audits, and also finally, last but definitely not least important thing, legal clarity. Now, alongside the subnet itself, DFINITY also tied in several roadmap items. One is something called Swiss Cloud Engines, which basically lets companies rent compute and infrastructure directly on this subnet as opposed to using a traditional cloud provider. And they also talked about a much stronger focus on AI-driven and no-code Web3 applications, aiming to make it much easier for non-crypto teams to be able to build real softwares on internet computer. And finally, they actually connected all this to Mission 70, which is a tokenomics plan designed to significantly reduce ICP inflation during 2026 by increasing on-chain activity and cycle usage. And we are going to talk about this Mission 70 paper in the next videos. This, in my view, is actually a very big deal for us as ICP investors. Now, let me give you a quick conclusion for this part and tell you in simple terms what is happening. Basically, like we said earlier, a subnet is a group of ICP nodes that is able to run a set of canisters, which are basically smart contracts, and each subnet can have its own specific roles and physical location, and node providers are the companies running the actual hardware. And for example, if they are all in one country, you can realistically say the computation is going to stay in that country, and cycles are the fuel for ICP. And this is really the key point. Applications are going to burn cycles to run and store data, and higher cycle burn can indirectly reduce token supply by taking ICP out of circulation. And again, this specific part is that Mission 70 plan that we talked about earlier, and we are going to talk about the paper specifically in the coming videos. So if you were wondering why do we care about these types of news, well, this is exactly why. Now, let's talk about why this is actually factually bullish for ICP from a couple of other angles. First things first, there's actually the regulatory and compliance product market fit, and you should know that the Swiss Subnet is openly designed for regulated sectors, like for example, banks, hospitals, and like we said earlier, government institutions that need a strict data residency, and that is not an assumption. No, they literally confirmed that yes, this is absolutely the core pitch of the announcement. And even if like a very small amount of these institutions are going to start using the subnet or maybe renting infrastructure through Suez Cloud engines, okay, that is going to create once more real demand for ICP based infrastructure. And you should know that these types of demands are not like, for example, one and done. No, these are sticky demands, and once they are here, they are absolutely going to stay. Now, the second angle actually comes down to the subnet or national subnet itself as a credibility product. You see, this wasn't actually launched quietly, although I fully understand in the whole crypto space right now, since these are god-awful terrible times, it probably went under the radar, but hey, by no means this was a quiet launch. No, it was presented at Davos during World Computer Day in front of policymakers and enterprise leaders, and that visibility matters quite a lot because many institutions don't even look at crypto infrastructure unless it comes with a serious trust force narrative, and positioning ICP as a sovereign cloud is going to increase the chances of pilot programs, proof of concept, or maybe long-scale cycle enterprise deals that simply do not happen with memes or maybe retail-focused chains. Now, the next angle is actually coming down to the renting side, because literally a couple of minutes earlier, we said that this infrastructure actually can be rented, and if it is going to be rented to a couple of major institutions, okay, it is going to, in my view, open some doors to recurring revenue for node providers and potentially for the whole ecosystem. And if enterprises pay, for example, to run workloads on these subnets, okay, that activity once more translates into sustained on-chain usage, which will lead to more and more ICP getting burned, which will ultimately, hopefully, is going to make the tokenomics, dare I say, even deflationary. And my final angle comes down to the government side, because I think this is actually a very important signal for us. You see, Mission 70 actually passed through community voting, and the inflation reduction targets are clearly documented. We are going to check the document in the next videos. That, in my view, matters quite a lot because it is clearly showing that the protocol can coordinate around long-term tokenomic changes, and for institutions and long-term investors like you and me, okay, reduced uncertainty around inflation and supply dynamics is going to, in the mid to long term, again, not necessarily short term, in the short term, you're probably better off getting help only and only from technical analysis, but in the mid to long term, in my view, this is going to lower a key risk that has historically held ICP back, which is awesome. So bottom line, I'm gonna say this was a very piece of positive news that absolutely nobody paid attention to it. And again, I fully understand, since the markets are right now getting absolutely hammered, not only in the crypto space. In the last, let's say, 72 hours, basically gold also has been getting a bit of a move on the downside. Silver absolutely got hammered, and also in stock market, we have seen a bit of a move down. But hey, chief among all these markets were actually crypto, in terms of just how massive downsides were. And for example, in case of ICP, in the last 72 hours, if I just do this, excuse me, we got this beautiful move on the downside, which is almost like a 40-50% move. And again, we sort of kind of expected it. Why? Because in the previous video, if you remember, in ICP, I think we were somewhere around these areas, and the idea was that, well, okay, clearly this is a 1 2 3 4 5 wave down in form of an impulse, and you can definitely see just how strong our moves on the downside are. And by the way, we said it specifically, this 5 wave sort of kind of got confirmed the moment that we took this important low about $3, and it was essentially confirmed that yep, off of the lows we just had in here in ICP, a correction up in form of an ABC or maybe a WXY. Again, the shape of it doesn't really matter. Generally, it was confirmed that, yep, this is a correction. And unfortunately, the final low in ICP is not really in yet. And we argued, yep, we're going to have a continuation of our move down in order to take the lowest low in here, about $2.6. Now, at the moment, can we argue that the bottom is in or not? I'm gonna say probably the bottom is in, and here is really a key point. Even if the final low in ICP, and for that matter in the whole altcoin space, is not in yet, okay, I'm gonna say this, downsides are actually very limited. Meaning what? You see, in my opinion, if we want to have one more move on the downside in order to take the lows, odds are, and there's actually, in my opinion, like a very high chance that we are not really going to go a whole lot lower than this point in ICP, about $2 area. And generally in this whole region, we are going to have our final bottom. That's why, hey, I want to say these areas are great buying opportunities. Now, in terms of Helios waves, I am now not going to say that this point is the end of our wave 3. No, I'm gonna say probably the end of our wave 3 was actually in here, followed by a correction for 4, and then another move on the downside into wave 5. And even if you want to be a bit pessimistic and you want to argue the final low is not in yet, then okay, let's say this point is the end of our wave 3 correction for 4, and then we are going to have another move down into wave 5. And again, please pay attention to what we said a couple of seconds ago. I do not believe that even if we want to have one more move down, our moves on the downside is actually going to be like a very strong and deep move. Why? Because the same actually goes for BTC, the king itself. Whenever you are seeing such strong moves on the downside in BTC, the next phases are either consolidation followed by maybe just like a very small move on the downside, or generally maybe we have hit our final low, and after a bit of consolidation in order to gather the power for the next phase, we are going to witness some strong moves on the upside, and the final low is already in. Now, here's a very important point. I think at the moment, at least in the whole crypto space, we should just take everything a step by a step. And what's the play in here? Well, I'm actually thinking about having a bit of a move on the downside in ICP soon. And one way or the other, I do think we are going to get those moves. Why is that? Two reasons, actually. Number one, Helios wave wise. If you want to argue that, for example, in here, we're going to have our final low, maybe this is like a very key area of support. Fair enough. Off of the lowest low, then you have to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up. This specific scenario is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, our wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And in terms of the sub waves, you know it. We're gonna have 5 wave up. Let's just do this, okay, into our wave 1, 3, and 5, and for wave 2 and 4, we can consider different possibilities. The shape of them doesn't really matter, honestly. Let's say ABC for wave 2 followed by a WXY into wave 4. And pay attention, please, after completing a 5 wave, even if you want to be bullish and you want to argue the final low is in, one way or the other, we are going to have a bit of a move on the downside. And this is, in most cases, going to be like a very deep move down in order for us to be able to say, yep, you know what? On a higher degree, this is 1, this is 2, and then we can expect a very sharp bounce into wave 3, 4, 5. Since Helios wave wise, we are saying in most cases, again, definitely not all, there is no certainty in any market. At any given moment, we are talking about different possibilities, but in most cases, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong and sharp move up. So, with that in mind, let's go on the live chart and see what is going on. And maybe it's best to go on 15-minute time frame. And I just want to do this for the sake of educational purposes. So here's what's going on in my mind. I am absolutely able to argue that this phase is a 5 wave. Guess what? I'm also able to say this is actually a 5 wave. And if you go on some lower time frames, trust me, you are able to find the sub waves, no problem at all. So here is what I'm going to say. Although I fully agree with you, this looks actually a bit ugly, but in my opinion, this is one followed by probably an A, B, C, running flat into wave 2, a strong, beautiful move up into wave 3, and this is actually probably a correction structure into our wave 4, meaning what's next? You know it, another move on the upside into our wave 5. Now, if you have bought ICP around the lows and you brought your average purchase down, good for you. I'm so proud of you. But if you haven't done that, okay, may I suggest this may not necessarily be a buy opportunity for you. I think you are going to get better chances to buy the dip in ICP since, again, like we said earlier, after a 5-wave up, even according to the most bullish case, we are going to have a bit of a move on the downside. And here is my second reason for why I think one way or the other, this phase down in ICP is coming. You see, let's go on H4 time frame. Maybe zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Okay. I think we can all agree that the bounce in here we got was actually quite strong and it happened really, really fast. And if I just measure it, this was something like a 12% bounce. Again, definitely a significant move. Now, here's the deal. Whenever we are having such a strong bounces, usually around the shadows, when you go on some higher time frames, you're actually having some major gaps. And hey, guess what? In my opinion, gaps 95+% of the time are going to get filled. So again, this can be definitely, I would argue, yet another important reason to say in ICP, after maybe another move up, we are going to have a bit of a move on the downside, and the target for it can be somewhere around these areas, about $2.2. And this, for those of you who are mid to long-term investors, can be one more beautiful buying opportunity. And believe me when I tell you, I'm going to enjoy these opportunities while they last, because I don't really think that we are going to hang around these prices for much longer. Sure, maybe we are going to consolidate a little bit more. However, once more, I'm going to say this. I do not believe that in ICP, we are going to have one more massive move on the downside like the one that we had a couple of days ago. I think moves like this are probably gone for now. And after, even let's be pessimistic and say after having like one more move down in order to take the loss, which in it I think we're not going to go really a whole lot lower, then we can expect a very strong bounce back. And those of you who are buying ICP right around the lows, I think right around the highs in here, are going to be very happy with your decisions. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Internet Computer's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.